Okay, there we go.
There he goes.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening, Russell?
Nothing much.
It is a pleasure.
Oh, cool. Pleasure's all mine, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, big fan. I got to start off by talking about Russell Allen because I met him. Dude, I met you, it was 15 plus years ago, South Florida, in a parking lot outside the Culture Room after one of your shows with Symphony X, and you were just the
Okay.
nicest guy to all of us fans. You were
Oh,
like,
thanks, man.
you wanted to get, where you were going, but you stopped and you talked to us. You were just really, I have remembered that my entire career, so thank you for being who you
Oh, oh, thank you, man. Yeah, I never miss an opportunity to thank the fans and just be there. I mean, and still am a fan myself. So,
That's a
you know,
wonderful thing.
and I was blessed to meet a lot of my heroes, growing up, and they were amazing and really inspired me to do this and be like, hey, you mean I could be a nice guy and do this? Okay, cool. So
I wish everybody knew that.
yeah, well, the whole nice guys finish last thing, right? So
Right, right.
and I was like, well, wait a minute, these guys didn't. They finished first. So I
Dude,
never forgot that.
seen you with Symphony X, Adrenaline Mob, seen you with Trans-Siberian, your voice. Anyway, not here to talk about kudos. We're here to talk about this beautiful new song you did, Love Her Like I Do. This is
Yeah.
amazing, dude. Not what I expected from Russell Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sitting on this for a while, to be quite honest with you. You know me, obviously, my work in rock and metal over the years, and with the rock opera that's Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and in TSO, as you know, there are songs that are more emotional, maybe more, ballad side of things.
Sure,
I
sure.
guess you could argue. So I've done some of those, songs like Ornament and things like that. But yeah, for me to release a song like this, it's something that was a long time in the works, so to speak. I was writing it when my daughter was very young. That's how I started. That's why the imagery I kind of went with from the graphic designer was a younger girl from when she was in elementary school. That's kind of where this started. But to give you some background, man,
Mm-hmm.
I came from a country music family. My mom and dad are bluegrass musicians. My sister is actually singing with me on the song.
That's your
That's her,
sister. Good to
yeah, that's my
know.
sister Stephanie.
Beautiful
Yeah,
voice.
yeah, and she's got a great voice, and she sings in like a jazz sort of a band right now, but she's done country and stuff and rock and everything in the Las Vegas area for a lot of years, and so I flew her out to my house to actually record on it. So basically, it's a family thing, man. This is something going back to my roots of music when I was just a kid, playing like local shows with my grandfather, who was a country entertainer and stuff, and getting up with him and my grandmother and playing in their band. And I was like 5 years old. It was my first show, so
And it
so
seems like one of those songs is built from out of sitting around with guitars, and the song just kind of naturally grew out of that.
yeah, it comes from that place. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I actually wrote the song on my piano using a guitar
Oh,
plug-in to kind of help me simulate that, so I wouldn't be killing my fingers, which I have no calluses now because I'm so out of practice, but I
right.
can play. But I wrote it like that, and I actually took it to a friend that is just an amazing player. His name's Brian Sutton, and he's a great acoustic player out of Nashville. He's played on a ton of stuff. He's an amazing guy. And I happened to be on the Trans-Siberian Orchestra tour. I befriended him through Caleb Johnson, who is also on the tour with me. You might remember him from, American Idol,
Mhm.
champion guy, great singer, great artist. He's got a new band coming out actually too that he's working on. So he and I are friends and stuff. And so he said, hey, I want you to meet my cousin's, this is his cousin's husband. That's how I met Brian. Went over to his house for like a little Christmas sort of time hang, and we're just was jamming and checking out his whole setup. And just, I said, hey, I wrote this song. I had it on my phone. I wrote this song on the keyboard. I don't even know. It's a key I could sing it in, but it's like C sharp, something weird on the guitar, man. I don't know if you could. And he said, just play it for me. And so I play it for him. And he's just one of these amazing guys on the guitar, accompaniment sort of guy. He just takes his K Pro, a couple twists. He goes, "Is this it?" And he just starts
And just
playing
picks
it.
up with it.
He goes, "I really like the pattern. I really like the pattern you got on this." And so let me see it. Let me try it. So he played it. And then I was like, oh, cool. Do you want to hear it? They're like, go ahead and sing it. I'm like, you never heard it. He goes, I'll follow you. And dude, he followed me, didn't miss a chord change at all. Like
Amazing.
he knew it was coming. I mean, it's not rocket science, the song. It's not prog or anything,
Right.
but it does have an interesting upbeat sort of alternate, picking rhythm to it, which he just obviously was able to kill it. And so he played the whole song while I sang. Actually, somebody videoed that on the phone. I was just blown away. And then after we had, ate dinner and all that kind of stuff, and he contacted me a couple of days later when we were back on the road with TSO. Hey, I really love the song. I'd love to record it for you. I'm like, oh, great. And I said, hey, can we get a fiddle on there? She goes, I have somebody. If you don't mind, having her play on it. Like, okay. And so that's kind of how the song kind of came to shape. He really, it's a really close to the chest track for me, because it's about my daughter and what her life has been like, living with autism on the spectrum, along with some other things that come with that. It's not just like autism. There's a lot of things, OCD. There's a ton of different things that can branch off of that diagnosis. For those in the know, but a lot of people don't. And so the motivation was to just get this song out there. And I was just blessed to have these people help me with it early on and get it to that point. So that's kind of like why it's so different for me, because it doesn't sound like anything I've ever done to release to the public, but I guess I'm telling you this whole story because I grew up doing this kind of stuff with my family. So
that's wonderful. And I got to tell you, we played it in the office. I've got country guys, rock guys. I work with a whole bunch of radio people. And everybody was like, that's a really good song. And then when I told them a little bit and I said, listen to the words, it was like, you got some old jaded radio guys going, man, that's touching. That's not that it's sad. It's just touching. Yeah. It's a really touching song.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And because, I got the goosebumps just when you said that, because hey man, I've played it for some heavy metal dudes. I mean, not going to drop any names, but very famous guys, that are known for rock, you know what I'm saying? And they're just like, that's all, Russ. Fuck you, man. I'm sorry. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, you broke my face, man.
It worked on me, dude.
I think it hits, man, because it's real, and it's what I saw and what I continue to see. And it's just, it's a father's wish, really, for her child and for my child, to be accepted for who she is. And that's really, I think, the resonating thing. Everybody's, knows that story of the bully in school kind of thing, that teases the kids, and everybody's either been on the receiving end of that, done it to somebody, and maybe an older person have remorse about it, or witnessed it, and so just that alone, I think, connects a lot of people to it, which was what I was hoping for, because then you can maybe understand what these kids go through, if they're socially very, they have social anxiety, and
it's
things
hard
like
to
that.
be accepted as a kid anyway in those situations. Just if you could be the straight A student and the from the tennis star family or whatever, still have a hard time getting along with the other kids. That's just the nature of the business, and then to have that on top of it makes it more difficult.
Exactly. So I think having that level of empathy, being expressed. Even to get it to connect with younger people in their teens, my son, who's a little younger than my daughter, they go to the same school, and he had said, "Hey, Dad, Mom, my friends love your song, man. I think it's great." I'm like, "That's really cool, Jack," because they're into like rap and stuff, and I would love to say my son's into metal and rock. It's just he could play it on the drums, but it's not his go-to, right? My daughter loves Symphony X. She's all into the progressive stuff because her mind is a little more of a beautiful mind. She can absorb very, high intellectually level things, and she's
more
very
complex
intelligent.
things.
Yeah, more complex things. And my son, God bless him. I love him. He's a normal kid. He's a sports kid. He's, and I coach football, for about 6 or 7 years in my town with my son and his friends growing up as little kids, so they all know me. And so, they're, but it's not just to say, oh, hey, tell your dad, that's a cool song so they can win brownie points for me. They're all they're in school now, they're playing for high school and stuff. But so it meant a lot to have them hit, because that's what I was hoping. I wanted the song to reach people and maybe, open up their mind, open up their heart a little bit to look at these individuals in a different light. Maybe give them the time of day. They're a little different, they're a little awkward, but they're funny. A lot of them, they have personalities. There's a human being in there, and it's up to them to kind of break down that barrier, because they have a difficult time breaking down that barrier themselves. And so that's kind of what I was hoping would be the response to this. And so far it's been amazing. That the messages I get from especially from parents, it's just like, oh, I can't even read all of them, man. I can't get through them all. They just really break me up.
Wonderful problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, man. Great problem to have.
Well, I am as I get older, I'm a big fan of unique people, and I find that people on the spectrum, no matter where they are on that, look at life a little bit differently, and we need a little bit more of that in our world, I think.
I agree, because these people have shown, others have shown to be highly successful and give a lot and contribute to society as a whole. I mean, regardless of people's politics and things like that, like a guy like Elon Musk, he's highly successful. He's on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form. Okay. I would argue maybe Albert Einstein might have been on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though he didn't have the diagnosis back then, but he has a lot of the traits of somebody who's on the spectrum, and the list goes on and on. I think in Musk, I remember seeing an interview with him of how he spoke about school was just hell for him. He wasn't accepted. He was teased. All this. So it's a reoccurring pattern. Now, he's obviously been able to break through that and have a lot of success in his life. I mean, geez, he can catch a rocket.
Right?
Come on. I don't. All the other stuff is whatever. But those type of people, we need to embrace them, because the next super genius that could advance, mankind is out there somewhere. And instead of forcing them to the side or putting them in a box, I think it would do us all a big favor to embrace these people, because you just never know who that magic person is going to be, who's going to catapult us to the next level. And
you and I were in school. We were very much put into lanes. We were very much put into boxes, so to speak. And I was lucky enough that I tested into whatever they called it, the gifted program or whatever. So I'd spend a period out, like making a Star Trek movie on 8mm film or whatever, doing something more creative.
Cool,
but not everybody.
I was too.
Were you?
Yeah, it was called the GATE program. I actually grew up
Focus one year. It was called Focus.
Yeah, we were called GATE, gifted and intelligent, I think, right? Yeah, and so so that's what they called us. I kind of washed out of it, I think. My memory's sketchy on it, but I do remember the whole thing where they would have you look at the picture, and it looks, is it Jesus or a dog or something? I remember that. It's like all this kind of stuff. And I said, oh yeah, I see that. And so they're like, okay, get him in here. And so they did some advanced math with me. I was really good at geometry, things like that. So I probably am a little on the spectrum too. I'm sure I am. I
have no doubt that
definitely
a lot more people are than no.
Right. And I think because people don't understand what that whole spectrum diagnosis means, it's called a spectrum for a reason. There's a lot of different things that can qualify you to be on it, and you can still be highly functioning though, so my daughter is very highly functioning, luckily, but we had a lot of help with that early on. We had an early intervention, which is something I've been advocating, talking to people in interviews, things like that. Without that, I'm afraid to even think about what the outcome could have been. So that was a huge plus for us. 25 hours a week, 5 days a week. We had occupational therapists, speech therapists, people coming to the home. It's difficult. It's not comfortable. I mean, your child will be down there screaming and stuff. But in the long run, they really understand how to physically get the neurological system to make those connections early on, and it improves your chances of having audible, outcomes, things like that, where the kids are actually speaking and things like that. It was amazing, because when she first went in, she had none of that.
Right.
Wouldn't look at you, wouldn't talk. And she came out of that after 5 or so years. Or excuse me, I was like 3.5, 4 years. So much better. So I totally advocate for that. And don't wait to get the diagnosis, and I feel like this is my platform to say this, because I want, as a parent, to tell other parents, hey, don't be afraid, just go. You'll be surprised how many kids are not diagnosed with it, and it's unfortunately, hurts them later on.
In modern times with social media and AI and all that, I think what's real is what's breaking through and is going to last. A lot of this stuff is temporary, it's a ether, but you're singing about something real, about real life experiences, and you're bringing people into it. Yeah, your fans are getting into it, but other people will, because it's real.
Well, that's why I'm hoping. That's why I'm. Thank you for talking with me, because I like, those guys you mentioned in the studio and stuff, that this isn't a boundary song. This isn't it's a country rock. It's for everybody, man. It's just you could say it's a little country, a little this, because of the acoustic thing and the fiddle part, but truthfully speaking, it's the kind of arrangement that I needed to say what I needed to say.
It's just a song, as far as I'm concerned. It's a good song.
It's a good song.
Back in the day, we didn't call everything rock, metal, progressive, death metal, post, all that stuff. It was just music.
Well, that's when you guys had a lot more power. I mean, I miss those days. I miss calling into my local DJ and saying, hey man, play some Dio, on KNAC back in the day. And he'd be like, sure, no problem. And then my song, I would listen, and maybe 20 minutes, 3 minutes later, my song would come on. And sometimes you get lucky. And I remember when I was first dating my wife, this was 150 million years ago. I called into an oldies station and requested to play Unchained Melody, because that was like our song, and dedicated to her for her birthday. And the guy did all that. That was back when, I know you guys, we
have to talk people into trying to call us these days.
Yeah,
they don't call radio stations anymore.
I know. And it's, but you guys, the point I was thinking, you had the power to play. You guys make or break the bands back in the day. That was the old way. And I mean, thank God you guys are still around. I love the fact that you're there, and you're taking the time to talk with me.
And I still program that way, dude. I'm in a fortunate. I have a single owner, not a corporate owner, and he believes in new music. And I decide what we play. There are some things on the active rock chart that don't fit the rock station. It just, in modern times, this overly auto-tuned boy band stuff doesn't play next to Zeppelin, Van Halen, or Godsmack, right? So some of those songs I just can't play, so I pick and choose, and if I find a deeper cut from an up-and-coming band that fits the station more, I'm going to play that over the big hit, because the big hit just didn't really fit us.
Right. Well, hey, that's awesome. That's what you got to, because that's, you talked about, it's not all programmed, and it's human influence, like what's moving you, what's moving you, what you feel like, because what's moving you is going to move your listeners, and so you're the first sort of ears on it, and so like that's great, man.
I came up in a radio where I was told that we need to be the gatekeeper, so to speak. I've had many consultants and VPs tell me we don't make the hits, we play the hits, and I'm like, no, we can make the hit. If I find a song that we get these days it's an email. I get an email, I put it on. There's 2 or 3 people in the office, and we all start tapping our foot and go, I immediately go put it on the air. I love having that power to do that. Not a lot of people do.
Well, you're blessed, my friend, and that's an amazing thing. So please do not stop. Whatever you do.
I still believe in old radio, and I think, this rock station is quite highly rated for the kind of market we're in. So,
yeah, where exactly are you guys,
dude? I'm on the Kenai Peninsula of Alaska.
Oh, that is so cool. I knew you were up there, but I didn't know exactly where.
We're down south of Anchorage. We're on a peninsula. It's protected. It's about 60,000 people on the entire peninsula. But if you've never been here, it's some of the best fishing in the world, so you should come.
Oh, my son would love that. He loves to fish. That's great, man. Well, thanks.
I was in Florida for a long time, and that's how we met, but I had an opportunity almost 5 years to come up here, and dude, I live in the woods, no neighbors. It's really nice.
That's awesome. I'm happy you're up there rocking Alaska with some deep cuts. That's pretty cool.
Dude, we have our voice guy is originally from Alaska. He works in LA now, but he cut one that says, we broadcast from the edge of civilization because we like wolves and people are sketchy.
That's great. That's great.
Well, dude, good luck with this song. Love Her Like I Do by Russell Allen is available now. You should listen to it. You should share it. Are you going to do a video for this?
Yeah, I'm going to do a video. I'm working on first a lyric video, and then see how that goes. And I'd like to do a full like video. There's, it depends. I don't want the video to misrepresent the song in any way. So it's a little touch and go with that, because it is about my daughter. So I want to make sure it's all kosher and all that stuff. But I'm talking to a couple people now about that, how we could do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be me in it, or whatever, doing all that. I'd rather not be. I want it to be
about
it's
her.
not about me. So I want it to be about her, and it'd be about, but I think you need that parent sort of interaction, but maybe an actor or something else to do that, because I want people to understand where the father's coming from
And to bring that idea home.
Yeah, so you can feel that. But that's the plan. I mean, look, I put it out for this month. Like I said, the song's been around for a while. And I finally finished it as she was growing older. Different things happened in her life, and so the chorus kind of came together. And now that it's here, I just wanted to get it out this month for Autism Acceptance Month. We used to call it awareness. Now it's I don't know what the new verbiage is. It changes.
I think they both work.
Okay, whatever it is, I just wanted to get it out there. I felt it was a good time, because the world is always in upheaval. There's a war now, and this one, then election last year. I don't know. The thing I know is that these kids need to be heard, and they need to be accepted. And so there's no time like the present.
Dude, these lyrics are definitely from the heart. You can tell it. Thank you for doing that.
Amen. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Russell Allen, Love Her Like I Do. Get this song right now.